Welcome back to Collectors versus Creators podcast. I'm your host, JG Collects, and I know it's been a minute. Y'all see a new space. Progression is everything around here. And with a new space, I had to bring one of my first guests who gave me my first interview. This is my bro right here. Our careers have been parallel to each other. He's here to talk about his new manga. If you want to hear his original arc, you got to go click the link in the bio. You will hear his first interview. But now, my guest, Raizarts. What's good with you, bro?
What's up, bro? How you doing today, man?
Man, I'm tired as hell, man. Like always on the move, man. What's been up with you?
Man, a lot. Just, traveling the country, selling my art, selling my comic. Things have been, I'm really blessed right now, bro. Like, for real.
I feel that. And it's like I stated earlier, you got your new manga. How long did it take you to actually do this?
Oh, man. That's kind of a loaded question. So I created these characters when I was 14. I've finished the first chapter, which ironically hasn't really changed much. It's like the thing that like stayed the same from beginning to now. But I finished the first chapter for the first time when I was in high school. But I had this idea that I didn't want to do anything until I was pro enough. Unfortunately, that pro-ness took all the way up until, man, last year or 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So I've been doing it, revising it, doing it, revising it. And I essentially got to a point where I realized like it's not going to be perfect. I'd rather it be out and I get better over time as opposed to me sitting on a story that I know can impact the world because I want it to be at a certain level. Naruto chapter 1 versus Naruto chapter 700 look completely different, but they're still super duper important to society, and I want Twilight Angel to be part of that as well.
I love to hear all that. And I do have like a couple questions when it comes to that, because you said you have done this for a while. What about that made you even want to just keep doing it? Because, when you're doing something and it doesn't turn out and pan out the way you want it, people lose hope. They don't even want to continue. So what was the love? Where did the love come from?
Pure, unadulterated ego. No, I mean that's part of it, right? Like you have to believe in yourself. Even whenever, all the chips are down and you're kind of like at your lowest point, if you don't have yourself to pick you up, then nothing's ever going to flow. Funders may not always be there, investors may not always be there, your friends and family may not always be there, but you have to always be there for you. And I was like, you know what? Come hell or high water, I'm getting this done. And surprisingly, man, not surprisingly, but people love it. People are asking, hey, when's the next chapter coming out? Hey, like, I get texts and emails and messages all the time asking about my characters in my world, and it's really humbling to see, honestly.
And that's dope. And you got like 1,000,001 in ideas. How do you condense that into some of these chapters where you like, all right, I want to add on to this, but I want to leave this out to continue on with the story?
That's actually a really great question, man. It's always good to have an idea of where you're going. But I teach kids how to make comics as well through a bunch of different schools in the city. And one of the things that I tell them, and I actually, take this into account for myself, hype moments are super important, but character relationships and building those bonds is also important. In fact, it's more important. If you have a bunch of like crazy fights, but you have no heart as to why they matter, they don't matter. And so I try to take the centralized themes or the things that are important for a certain arc of my story and stretch them out in a way that the pacing is good, but also so that you don't forget about what's truly important at the end of the day.
So
The
with
fights
all
are a vehicle to the major plot points.
so with all that being said, it sounds like you study like a lot of animes and watching how like character development versus the fight scenes, how you have some shows like Solo Leveling have a lot of great fight scenes, but a lot of people can't tell you who the other characters are.
Yeah.
So like How do you find that balance?
Man, building a cast of characters who all have something to say. Um, I think that oftentimes with bigger cast, we kind of get lost in the sauce a little bit. Because we want to show off like cool powers, like such and such has really amazing abilities. I want to hurry up and get to that point. But what does such and such do on his off day? Who is such and such whenever they're going to a restaurant, or like whenever they're interacting with their friends versus their families. Um, I think that if you can build that investment first, then people will remember the names of your characters a bit more than Jinwoo and whatever fodder is left.
That is true, and it's like I interviewed some of the voice actors, and I couldn't even tell you who they are. I'm like, golly, but Soul Leveling, it has its moments, and every artist and every manga writer wants to get to that point to get their book animated. Do you see yourself doing that in the future?
Man, that's the plan. Netflix, Paramount Plus, Amazon Prime. If you guys are watching this, please allow me to pitch to you. I would love to share my world with you guys.
What about Tubi?
You know what? If Tubi wants to take a chance on the best future shonen manga in the world, give me a call.
So, what was the inspiration behind some of your manga chapters?
Man, so Full Metal Alchemist is definitely my favorite anime of all time. It's story about brothers overcoming hardship. Really impacted me at a time where I needed it the most, and I wanted to show a story about brothers as well overcoming hardship. In a completely different way than Ed and Al, but in a way that that shows that even though life is hard, your family, even your found family, is going to be there to pick you up along the way.
That's dope, man. And then, like, do you pressure yourself on putting a time frame on when a chapter or even when the book should be done?
Hmm. Uh, Time frames and deadlines are super important and essential as an artist. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. The fact of the matter is, hype really only has a certain window. And it's best to strike while the iron's hot. That said, you have to listen to yourself. If you are someone who is in a freelancer position like myself, um, and you can take the time, but not too much. If you're working for a company, or like if you're in the industry, or like you're under a contract, then you kind of have to speed things up. But you really want to make sure that the content of your work is good, and you don't want to do like a here damn chapter just because, well, people want to see my stuff. Like, you want people to be able to feel that passion. So I do put a deadline on things for myself, but I also allow myself a little bit of grace because I understand that life be lifing.
Nah, true. Every future inspiring manga writer, artist, procrastination could be the death of you, but also put some realistic standards onto yourself. Now, this is your time right now, bro, to explain and just give your best pitch on why should people read your manga and what they're getting into when they read it.
Sure. So Twilight Angel is about two brothers who witnessed the death of their father by an angel when they were children. 10 years later, a mysterious girl comes saying that she has answers about why it happened. But the trade off is that they have to go to a world of angels and demons in order to get those answers. And we don't know if she's here to show them heaven or to put them in a hell like they've never imagined.
Is this something that the kids can read?
Absolutely. There are some dark moments, but it's rated T for teens. There's a few curse words and things like that, but it's you'll never see an F bomb in my comic. You won't see anything like crazy derogatory. But they are stories that impact everybody. Um, like the stories about characters who are looking for places to belong. There's stories about people coming over overcoming hardship. There are there's stories about people who've made major mistakes and may or may not be able to redeem themselves. There's a lot of darkness, but there's also a lot of hope with my story. So
Sounds like a great tale. Everybody, make sure y'all go out and support, bro. And when it comes to support, how has it been when it comes to like getting this into conventions and then even local support?
man, I was honestly overwhelmed. I didn't realize, and this is also for people who are just starting their journey or need some encouragement to keep going. You don't realize who's all watching you. You don't realize like the amount of people who want to see you succeed in your endeavors. And whenever I released my comic, man, I got so many DMs. Hey, can I get it? Can I get it? Can I get it? And I'm like, I only have X amount of copies, and I gotta take it to the convention. So it was to DreamCon actually. So I had to figure out how to balance that out. But now things are going well. I did sell out at DreamCon. I've been doing really well selling the digital copies as well, and I'm looking into getting it up on Amazon. But I do have a few in stock as well.
We definitely need to get that up on Amazon ASAP.
Yeah,
Now, how hard is it to actually get into the conventions to just even push your product?
man. So a lot of conventions have either a lottery system or a juried panel. And if it's a lottery system, it really is just about luck of the draw. But with the jury system, you have to create work that is appealing to a broad demographic, right? Um, Even though I love like making fan art, it's about what's trendy in the moment, but also you don't want to sell your soul to it as well. So like, if you see me drawing something that's a trend, it's because I also love the show. But conventions are looking for you to know what's going on in the culture and be able to bring in an audience. They're essentially allowing you to buy a table, but also they really want to make sure that you're going to bring in a crowd as well. So I would say that it's difficult, but if your work speaks for itself, then you have a higher chance of getting it. If you get waitlisted or if you just can't get in, don't give up. Email the people and say, "Hey, what could I have done to make my application better?" Like I really want to do this. What are other things that I can do to kind of show like that my work is appealing for your convention? And they usually get back to you.
They do get back to you, but it is not in a timely manner. So, don't set your expectations high.
That is true.
When you get into these convention space, like we didn't touch on the business aspect of it in our last interview. A lot of people don't know like these vendors tables can range from $600 to over $1,000. How do you figure out, all right, if my tables, let's say 700, 600, how do you figure out the cost of what your book should be, your fan art, and the regular art?
Wow. That is a good question. You have to one figure out where you're going. And different ways in which it can be affordable for you. You have to take into account your table costs, your lodging, and your transportation, as well as food. If you are someone who's really big, you may have to even hire staff to watch your table for you while you go to panels or while you do other things at the convention. Um, and then you have to have inventory. You can again like go off the trends. So next year, the new Spider-Man movie's coming out. I already have Spider-Man artwork that does really well at every convention anyway. I want to make sure to have more of that because I know that that's going to sell just off the hype of the movie. My book, I also, want to have that and offer people. So one of the things that I do is with all of my prints, you get a free chapter one with the book. It's to get people intrigued, and then people come back and like, oh, this is fire. Let me get the book. Just different marketing ideas, different sales and bundles that you can create to kind of make your table and your artwork more appealing to the audience, so that you can get more of a return on investment.
And marketing is everything. Always make sure you're innovative. Make sure you're always open to new ideas. A thing I didn't throw in when it comes to the cost, you also got to plan for the Wi-Fi, the power. If you do have somebody helping you, they do charge you an extra seat. A lot of people don't know that. Like, there's a lot of hidden costs when it comes to vending, but don't be discouraged. Sometimes you will make your money back, sometimes you won't. And in a case when you don't make your money back and you end up in the red, what's the next step for you?
Um, Regroup. Figure out what happened and why. Figure out what sold for you and what didn't, and try to ask yourself, okay, so maybe you drew an anime that was like really niche. Okay, so this doesn't have a huge fan base. Doesn't mean get rid of the inventory, but maybe this time I won't carry as much of that, and I'll focus more so on this season's anime instead. If you're in the red, there are so many other things that you can do at conventions that is not funny. Um, they're long days. I'll just say that up front, especially if you're by yourself. That said, you are one of the things that I think people struggle with is this idea that your job is to get into the room. That is the first step. Your job is to stay in the room. And so if you're finding that, okay, I didn't do too well on the convention, but let me go network. Let me go figure out who all is here. Let me go figure out who my art is appealing to so that I can then figure out different ways to make money. Actually, quick little story. So I was at a convention. Oh man, this is maybe 3 years ago. And it was more so geared towards standard like American comics. I'm an anime guy. So I didn't do too well. So I thought, okay, well, I need to figure out a way to recoup my money. So I did on the spot commissions. And people were so excited because they liked my art style. I just didn't have what they wanted at the time. So I drew some Young Justice characters, I drew some Batman characters, some Superman characters, and like different people as their personas for those characters on the spot. And man, it went from me being in the red to being right back in the black same day. It was crazy.
See, that's the power of innovation. And I like that you brought that up because a lot of people who are artists or vendors, they'll just apply to a convention and not realize, hey, this is a gaming convention. You got anime stuff you might not do well, or this is a comic convention. How long did it take you to figure out like there's different niches that you got to worry about when it comes to these conventions?
This is going to sound crazy. Um, I I gamify everything. Um, I play a lot of puzzle games, action adventure games, RPGs, things like that. And sometimes your job is to figure out how to increase your inventory or figure out how to make this piece stick with that. If I know that I'm on a level, aka a convention, that I didn't train properly for, I then figure out what resources I can use to still make myself win at the end of the day. It's a bit strange. I know it's a weird way of thinking, but it helps me every single time.
That is dope. Do you also factor in because being a black comic and manga artist, do you factor in I should hit more black conventions or just regular conventions?
Hmm. the Black experience is super important. Um, and I'm so glad that, I get to be in this community. That said, if I just limit myself to creating for one community, I am shutting out a lot of potential. Um, I love going to BlurCon. I love going to DreamCon. I'll be back. I'm very thankful for all those opportunities. But also, I love going to Anime NYC. I love going to Anime Matsuri. I love going to conventions that are more geared towards everybody. And so even though, I'm Black, like the Black experience is going to come through with a lot of my stuff. I just drew Sonic wearing Tim's because I was mad because I couldn't get those Tim's. 30 pairs, bro, like
I know
worldwide.
that shit.
Anyway.
Don't worry, I'll have them.
Anyway.
He got swapped.
I didn't just draw him wearing the Timbs. I drew him wearing a New York inspired outfit. In fact, I referenced Rihanna and ASAP Rocky for those outfits. Just because like I wanted to show a bit more culture with those drawings. That said, I mean, ideally, you want to be able to appeal to everybody.
Because that's what scares like a lot of artists and writers. They just feel because of the lack of representation that they should just stick to the community and try to not expand outside. But like you say, your audience will find you.
Yeah. And like, this might be a bit controversial, so, don't cancel me. But there are so many stories in which people say, man, why is there no Black representation? Why is there no Black representation? And that's important. But then I think doing the opposite of just having stories where it's only Black representation, you're not showing anyone that you are trying to learn from the negative lessons that were taught on the other side. Like, I'm more so, I really love the idea of unity. And just, again, just shutting out people that look different than you, it's such a missed opportunity.
No, that's well said. And we got into anime because everybody came together. But over the past few years, it has been segregated, especially when it comes to the cosplay community.
Yeah.
And you got fan bases like Dawn and On. For whatever reason, that freaked out show is very segregated. And I just don't know where that comes from.
Dawn and On's not that freaked out. All right. I hear you. But it's, in all seriousness, if the first 2 episodes offend you and like you find yourself unwilling to go forward, totally respect that. That said, if you are someone that can endure that, it's a very, very good story.
Yeah, you definitely right about that. And when it comes to like your story, not everybody's going to like it or gravitate towards it. What do you do when you do see those negative comments or just people want to say whatever about it?
So, number one, if you got haters, you're doing something right. Number two, so far with my comic, the worst thing I've heard is, man, I wish it wasn't in all color. And that's an aesthetic choice. So you didn't say the story sucked. You didn't say the character sucked. You just said you wish it were in black and white like other manga. Hey, I get that. And I can live with that. But artists, don't allow people who haven't even taken a first step in your journey to knock you off your square. Like, just keep drawing. You'll find your tribe. You'll find your audience.
Exactly. And the only reason why they're doing that is because they're scared to do whatever and follow their dreams. That's all it boils down to at the end of the day.
Yep.
For your fans out there, what can they expect another chapter of your story?
So, chapter 4 will be done before October 16th. I am going to be in Japan for 3 weeks.
Big baller.
Japan's really not that expensive.
I know.
I'm really thankful for this opportunity. I went to Anime NYC. Shout out to Plus Ultra Entertainment for having me be a special guest at one of their after parties. an official Anime NYC after party, I was asked to do some live drawing for them. And little did I know, a connection that I've been trying to build over in Japan was actually at the after party. Mario Long, he is a black manga author in Japan. He just finished his volume one of his story God Tier, but he also has a manga store in Japan. So like I'm like I gotta meet this guy. And he's black too, so like I gotta meet this
Oh, for
guy.
sure.
Yeah. Um, and so he just so happened to be at the party. He saw me working on my stuff. I ended up finding out that he was here. Went to his panel the next day. He's like, "You're the dude that was drawing on the screen. That was awesome what you did." Showed him my book. He was like, "Yeah, I want to, get to know your story a bit more, like your comic, but also like your story. Um, let's chat some more." And so I told him, I was like, "Yeah, I'll be in Japan in October," and he invited me to a networking party. So I had to stay a couple extra days, but I had to stay a couple extra days in Japan. Oh no.
I know, right? Oh, whoa, whoa, I can't believe it. I'm in Japan for a couple days. Oh, but that just goes to show you, everyone, just put yourself out there, put yourself in rooms. Don't be afraid to talk. Networking is the number one thing that's going to get you far in this industry, no matter if you're a cosplayer, if you're an artist, if you're in media, no matter what. Just talk to folks. And when it comes to you, you're always someone who's kind of like a solo act. Do you ever see yourself building a team and trying to expand on the brand?
So that's a little tough. I am very protective over my comic. That said, I work with people all the time. Whether it's clients building their logos or people who ask me to do illustrations for them, or even my students. I try to create as many opportunities for as many people as possible. Shout out to Neighborhood Academy. Shout out to Sarah Hines' house, and shout out to John Eagle with Three Dimension Comics and Three Rivers Comic Con, because we've been for the last 2 years partnering up to take our kids, or my kids, to Three Rivers Comic Con to be able to sell their artwork and to sell their comics that they've been working on. So whereas I don't see myself ever building a team like to work on my stuff, I very much would like to build a team of different creatives to be able to create as many opportunities for as many, especially youth, as possible.
And I just thought of a question I should have asked you earlier when it came to your comic. I want a realistic aspect of how much does it cost when it comes to like even just getting it out there from the gate, because you got publishing, you got distribution, even when it costs to even get the supplies to to draw and everything. What's like the realistic cost of this?
So, publishing, I'm self-published right now, but I am looking for publishers. So again, Tokyo Pop Viz, if you guys see this, please send me a DM. But I'm doing the self publishing route right now. So I don't really have a whole lot of fees as far as that goes. Right now it's basically draw and then print my stuff. I do go through Mixam, MIXAM, to print my stuff, and on average it's about $500 or $600 for 50 to 60 copies of your book.
So that's not too bad. Now, how many of these copies do you keep for yourself, and then how much do you put into the conventions?
So usually for conventions I'll do a 50 to 100 run just to see, how it does. So far I've sold out. This is the only like physical copy I was able to keep, and I have 50 more on the way in 2 weeks.
Hey, that's dope. You definitely got to have one from me. I've been
I
waiting
got
for
you,
a
bro.
minute. I definitely been waiting for a minute. And if anybody wants to read a digital copy, where can they go read it at?
Gumroad. The link is on my Instagram's bio, but it's just raizarts.gumroad.com.
And are there going to be any more conventions that you're going to be it's going to be any more conventions that you're going to be vending at soon?
Yeah, I will be at Animeverse in December. I won't be vending there, but I will be doing a workshop with Handmade Arcade in December. Excuse me one second. Never mind. Hate when that happens. I will be vending with Handmade Arcade, or sorry, I'll be doing a workshop with Handmade Arcade in December. I will also be doing a convention in February. It's a 1 day convention. I can't think of the name of it offhand. And then of course next year I'll be doing DreamCon and Anime NYC and all the other things I normally do.
Booked and busy at the major conventions.
Yeah.
We love to hear it. And we always got to have some type of anime discourse and talk. I already asked you what your top 5 anime was. Go watch the previous interview we did. But what's your top 5 current that you're watching?
Oh man. Sakamoto Days is much better than I expected it to be. Um, let's see. I'm catching up on One Piece. Uh,
Forever catching up.
yeah. Taco P's Original Sin. It's dark, but it's good.
What is that? Put me on.
It's just childhood trauma, uh, scoped up to the tens. Really cutesy anime like art style. Think Madoka Magica, but like
Okay.
with little kids. It's really rough, man. But it's such a good story. Uh, let's see, man. I'm drawing a blank. I am watching The Summer Hikaru Died. That is a horror anime on Netflix. It's really good. A lot more cerebral than I expected it to be. So that's fun. And To Be Hero X, duh. To Be Hero X is amazing. Of course, I'm like reading Don to Don and I'm reading Chainsaw Man every week. I'm reading that new Jujutsu Kaisen modulo right now, and it looks amazing. I can't wait for chapter 2 tomorrow.
Hey, those some new suggestions. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna have to see what these ones are talking about. And we see the popularity of anime has just skyrocketed with the release of overrated Slayer. I mean, Demon Slayer, Mid Slayer. But with shows like that, and then even Chainsaw Man, and then you see the convention scene just changing right before our eyes, and like the
Hmm.
con etiquette has changed. What direction do you think this is going to go eventually?
In what way?
As in for like, because you got people coming in from all aspects coming to these conventions, and certain people are doing things that they shouldn't be doing. And you, as a vendor, you experience certain things with
Yeah.
people just coming up. Matter of fact, let me ask you this: as a vendor, when people just come up to you and talk to you for 20 minutes, but they don't buy anything or just even take a business card, how do you feel? And like, how do you like deal with that?
I love those conversations. No, I don't actually. In all seriousness, it is really cool that that people want to come and talk to us. We really, we love it that you love that I drew Sonic with Tim's on. That said, um, just be mindful. We'll never kick you out or like shoo you away. But we are here to work, and so oftentimes whenever you're having those conversations and that discourse with another artist, again, we're happy to have them. But if you notice like people are standing behind you, um, just use a little bit of common courtesy to kind of stand out the way. Even if you want to continue the conversation after the line dies back down, just that etiquette is super duper important, especially again, if you're not going to buy anything. You know, it's great that you appreciate the art, but yeah, just keep in mind that there are other people there too.
And what about when people film content in front of your booth?
Man, you're asking the hard hitting questions. That's tough, right? To me, if you're going to film my stuff, because you're also a content creator, I get that we're all trying to get it back. Um, ask my permission before you put a camera in my face. And tag me in whatever it is that you're posting so that I can at least get some credit for our conversation or for you recording my booth, you know?
Hold on, time out. You've had people record without your permission and post stuff and not even tag you.
Yeah.
Crazy work.
Yeah.
So what do you say to folks who do that when you see yourself?
If I come across it on my social media, I'm like, that's me. You should tag me. I'm pretty vocal about that. But if I don't see it and someone else sees it, then they'll just tag me. One of the things that and this is like for all content creators across the board, you don't realize how big someone's fan base is. And so you want to have a good relationship with everyone who you interact with. Um, so by not tagging another creator, you're only making yourself kind of look bad. And so if you're trying to grow your following, if you're trying to expand your reach, it's best to be as courteous as possible.
And that is one of the biggest things that's being lost at these conventions, especially with it being more popular. A lot of people just come in thinking they own the room, in which they really don't. You're here with everyone else. Be calm, be courteous of everybody's space. It's not hard, but it seems to be like a very difficult thing. And a couple more questions before we get out of here is you as an artist, AI art has been a real problem this year.
Mm-hmm.
And I seen the face.
Mm-hmm.
Man, how do you feel about it?
They're trying to make it a more nuanced conversation than what it is. And it frustrates me. Uh there are artists that I know right now that for some reason come to me for these things. But they'll ask questions like, hey, if I use AI for a reference, is that okay? Or hey, if I use a little bit of AI, but I didn't use like in the final product, like does that matter? Here's the thing. Legally, you're fine. But if you're actively trying to create your stuff, it's so much better for you to get a million and one resources the old fashioned way and draw from there as opposed to going to an AI generated image. One, we already know that it steals the data from millions of artists worldwide. So you're essentially telling millions of artists that you don't care about their craft, which is so unfortunate. Two, we know that these artists aren't getting paid for it. So you're generating this art, and the millions of artists who got the algorithm trained on aren't seeing a single cent from it. And three, it's just lazy. It's just lazy. Um, it's not respecting the craft of art. It's not respecting the craft of drawing. Even with digital art, I do my stuff digitally. If you watch my lapses, I draw everything still from scratch. You know, it's you have to respect the craft in order to understand the journey, and that's just the long and short of it. If you want to be someone that generates images, fine, go for it. But if you are someone who is aiming to truly understand the craft, the study of art, and understand that art is a battle, and we have to get up every day and prepare for war with our creative mind, then you're going to be so much better just by picking up the pen and drawing. Sheesh. And then, the other thing, a lot of my younger artists are completely dissuaded. Hey, why should I do this if I can just generate this? Why should I do that if I'm not going to make any money here? And it's so sad to see, man, because like we're essentially losing out on creatives in what should be a creative economy right now. Like it should be booming out there. But there are so many young artists that are afraid to try to draw because they are deathly afraid to lose out to a computer algorithm.
Yeah, and then before like a few months ago, a lot of conventions were actually allowing it now because people are actually voicing their opinions and people are just getting banned. How do you feel about when you see like artists out there at conventions vending selling this stuff?
Oh man, I'm staunchly against it. Um, if the algorithm again is being created from millions of artists who aren't getting paid for the labor that they did, because art is labor, um, then some Joe off the street shouldn't be able to get paid for putting a Star Wars character, stormtrooper wearing a crown, in an algorithm and then getting paid thousands of dollars for it. It's ridiculous.
It is, and another ridiculous note, and this is going to be the last question. This is something that I've seen at the last few cons that I've done media for. Plagiarism has gotten out of hand. If you ever seen that, how would you handle that when it comes to your work?
Hey, I'm not gonna to my work. Oh man, I'm reporting you right away, and I'm putting you on blast. I am a narc when it comes to for real. Like if I go to a convention, I think I might have mentioned this last time, but Ozzy the Virus,
Mhm.
um, I'll see his art at other conventions, and like we're associates, so I'll just message him. Hey man, are these people licensed to be selling your art because your art's here? And sometimes it's a yes, sometimes it's a no. If it's a no, I go to whoever's in charge immediately because it's theft. You are literally stealing someone's work, and they deserve to be paid for it.
Oh no, for real, because I'm glad you and Ozzy got that relationship, and I wish more artists would go out there and protect each other. If you see somebody you know's artwork being sold by somebody that's not authorized, say something. We ain't in the streets and ain't snitching, bro. Like we got to get out of that mentality. Like y'all trying to do some bullshit now out here, and I'm glad that you do speak up, you do help out. And for anybody who wants to catch you on social media, they want to read your comic, give that out for us.
Yeah, I'm Raizarts everywhere. RAIZARTS. On Instagram there is an underscore afterwards. On Twitter it's just Raizarts, all one word. If you type Raizarts in Google, I'm the very first thing that shows up. If you type in Pittsburgh anime artist, I am the third search option, and that's only because Toon Fusion and Anime Verse were in Pittsburgh. But normally I'm number one.
Hey, you heard that? He had to hit them with the little flex real quick. Yeah, I'm number one. We love this shit, man. Hey, you guys heard all that? I'm JG Collects, and I promise my travel schedule will calm down here shortly at some point. I always say that knowing damn well I'm lying. You will see a little bit more in-person studios, interviews, and like that about
Peace.